Okay, well, it's a hell of a job I've got, as you can see. Another tough afternoon at the office, and I've managed to stumble across another All Black captain, Tane Norton, from the 1970s.
Yeah, just seven. Yeah, 1977.
77, against the Lions.
Against the Lions, yeah.
And what are your long withstanding memories of that tour, mate?
Well, sometimes, most of the time I joined, I was lucky enough to play against the great Lions side of 71. Complimentry was captain. And I ended my career playing against the 77 Lions. And often I get the two teams quite mixed up. I still do. The games seem to be just mixed up, but they were two great sides that came to New Zealand. They're great players. And the beauty of it is now we ended up with some very good friends in those teams, that we still meet.
You still keep in touch with the likes of Willie, John and Phil Bennett?
Oh, yeah, I mean, you have those guys in the house, they come to New Zealand on tour. And Willie John is a great friend. I've been to his home up in Northern Ireland at Ballymena.
See ya.
And
see you, Colin. See you, mate.
Catch you, Tony.
See you, Tree. Willie John's one of the greats, well, no doubt about that. A funny man, but just a good rugby man.
Looking back on that 77 tour, your final years, any shenanigans that you'd like to mention?
Well, then I get mixed up with 71 again because I go back to the Canterbury Lions game in 71, and I mean, that seems to be about one of the most things people talk about. But that was my first international game in 71. First time I ever played an international side. I mean, I was sitting on my bum most of the days looking up. Yeah. It was a tough old game, but even in that game we had tussles with might have had a bit of a fisticuffs with, that ended up great friends. And I don't know, Kirky was the same, Grizz, and all those people that played in that game. That was just put behind you. I mean, I remember back then when they said, the Lions will never play Canterbury again. Well, that wasn't the players to be speaking, that was administrators. And the game was great, but it was tough, but we got over it.
Obviously you can't say for sure because you're not playing in the modern era, but do you think that level of camaraderie that was born out of those long tours and the amateur era still exists?
I have that question asked a lot. And I think some people expect me to say no, they won't have it. But I think men are men, whatever, whether it's playing now or playing then, and I'm sure they'll have some great players. They got it. I mean, you'd have to be something strange in your head if you couldn't become a mate at some stage. You won't be friends with everybody, but you will certainly make some mates. And if you don't, you shouldn't be playing the game.
I've had a few requests from some fans to ask you a couple of questions, mate. But if you don't mind, they're pretty short and simple.
Mine's not too hard.
No, they're simple folk we're dealing with here. Okay, let's go with what's the question? Matt Gateau started this week. He's been fined this morning for criticising Steve Walsh over the refereeing last week. Do you think players should be able to criticise refs and should dictate?
Not really.
You wouldn't have had a bad word to say about a referee?
No. I had plenty to say about it. If you want to talk about South Africa, how long we've got. But in the end, I mean, forget about that. But Steve Walsh, I class as a really good referee, and he might have had a shocker.
Yep.
But if players start getting control and they're making statements, I mean, whoever has to deal with Steve Walsh if he's had a bad game, but I don't think it's up to a player. I mean, we're not getting referees coming out and saying, oh, Matt, get over here, play a game. I mean, they're only doing the best. One thing I don't think referees are cheats. I think they go out and do their best effort. Today is that we have so many things, video replays of about 10 ways a try could be scored, and the only one that I've heard it to addressed that TV thing real well is Jonathan Kaplan. I mean, I listen to him and he says, you make the statement, and then he makes a decision. I think referees have a hell of a hard job.
It's a prick of a job, mate. Wouldn't want to go near
No,
it.
so anyway, I didn't want to prolong the question.
Maori rugby is something I know that you hold quite dear. Do you think that the Maori rugby over the past few years, maybe even the last 10 years since we've been professional, has been held back due to people keeping their eye on the books rather than the traditions and spirit of the
Yes, I do. If anything, I'm disappointed with in New Zealand rugby that Maori rugby has been put down. I mean, for our game, Maori rugby has been extremely good. Our players of the past, our players who we have thousands playing the game. It's been more or less, the rugby game has been say, well, you can't reach the top from this level. You have to go and either play provincial or play club rugby. And I get disappointed about that, really. That Maori rugby's been good for New Zealand. I think if you go back in history, we learnt the game, loved the game, and now we haven't got the game for it. We can't play the match. Haven't got our own competition. And to see that we've lost to New Zealand Maoris. Once you lose something, very hard to get it back. And that's my biggest disappointment.
fair statement. I see, unlike most rugby men I talk to, you're sitting there drinking a glass of red wine. What's your flavour of red, mate? What's your variety
Red?
of your red wine?
Yeah, red.
Just red?
Yeah.
Not white?
No,
just red. It's a fussy man, that's one. One more to ask you. How do you think we're looking? 16 minutes out from the World Cup now?
How good are the Crusaders looking? That's my worry. I mean, I don't think we're looking that sharp at the moment, but how good have we looked for the last World Cups that we've had since '87? We've looked that good, and then we've found it, but now we might be just what we might need to put us on the right track. Get your act together.
Yeah, I guess the comparison is we weren't looking that good at the start of
I mean,
1986, were we?
Australia weren't looking any good last year, were they?
Right.
And how good are they looking now?
Bloody scary, mate.
Yeah.
Scary. Well, that's about a wrap here at Number 8 TV for the afternoon. Everyone else seems to have buggered off, so we're going to go and join them. Have a good evening, and we'll see you online soon.